What a danyo, what a dang, and God danyo, what a dang. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushunamo, where we speak truth to power. And my name, Blakk Rasta. From the newsreel, we keep it real. And here we don't criticize. If we must criticize, we just criticize to build, and not to build, not to destroy. Yes. I said here we don't criticize, but if we must criticize, we'll do that on one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we are in the service of God and country. This is a show of patriotism, not politics. My brother, my sister, here we don't talk politics, we talk patriotism, rewiring the mindset of our people. This is patriotism. Now, the very first story I am taking today is coming from Ghana Web. And it says, Gatmanya funeral. No school in Greater Accra will close down on the 26th and 27th of October. GES. My brother, my sister, this is what the GES is saying. And I would like us to read this. The Ghana Education Service has announced that schools in the Greater Accra region will not be closed down on Thursday, October 26, and today, Friday, October 27, as a sign of respect ahead of the funeral of the late Gatmanya. Now the day Medru the third. You want to hear it again? The Ghana Education Service has announced that schools in the Greater Accra region will not be closed down on Thursday, October 26 and Friday, October 27, as a sign of respect ahead of the funeral of the late Gatmanya. Now they Medru the third. Now it follows the amendment to the funeral and burial program of the late Queen. A memo signed by Stephen Abamfo, Acting Director of Education, Greater Accra Region, said from the Funeral Planning Committee of the late Nade De Amedro III, the Gatmanya, the new date for the closure of schools, shops and offices in and around Gamashi traditional area is Saturday the 28th of October 2023. In view of that, no school in the Greater Accra region will be closed down on Thursday the 26th and Friday the 27th, 2023. Please note and bring this to the notice and attention of all. Well, that is what he said. My brother, my sister, there is still a debate, and it's very simple. Now, had it not been the amendment of the dates, the Ghana Education Service had already endorsed the 26th and the 27th, Thursday and Friday closure of schools in the Greater Accra region. My brother, my sister, what was the closure of the schools for? It's supposed to be a sign of respect for the Queen, Nade De Amedro the third, my brother, my sister, who died last year at the age of 88 and is still in the morgue awaiting burial. Now let us look at this very quickly. Now, so many people have said that it is to honor tradition. And some other people have said, oh, okay, tradition is good, but as the world is growing, there are some traditional values that have to be looked up at again. My brother, my sister, do you agree? Do you not agree? Is tradition a certain kind of a robot? Is tradition, my brother, my sister, entrenched to the point that it can never be changed? My brother, my sister, and this is the letter signed by Mr. Stephen Abamfo, the letter that we just talked about. My brother, my sister, this is what it is. Now let us look at some things. Now if you read the Bible, you realize that so many things were done to honor a certain period. and to honor a certain people. That's okay, you can take it off now. My brother, my sister, so many things happen to us, and for that reason, some things have to be done to honor the situation or to alleviate a certain kind of problem. And when it is over, my brother, my sister, people move on to new things. There are some people who do not want to move on to new things. They will still hold on to some of these things and refer to that as tradition. A clear example is the example of the Sabbath. Jehovah's Witnesses will tell you that there's no need for any Sabbath anymore. It was a special period and a special occasion, and that occasion is over. Some other people will tell you, oh no, the Sabbath is still important. And they base their whole faith on that, and that is the SDA. Some other people will tell you, oh, no more prophets are going to come up again. The SDA will tell you, oh, the time of the prophets is over. Jehovah's Witnesses might also tell you the same thing. Pentecostals might tell you that no, prophets are still needed, whilst others will tell you no, no more prophets will come up again. Islam will tell you no other prophets after Prophet Muhammad would come again. My brother, my sister, to every reason, there must be a season. And for every season, there is a reason. What point is Blakk Rasta trying to make? When Donald Trump is coming into this country, we let the school children leave school and come and stand by the roadside to wave at them. When the wife of Donald Trump is coming, it's the same thing. When the Prince of Saudi Arabia is coming in, school children take a holiday to line up on the schools, on the roads, and wave at the Prince of Saudi Arabia coming in. My brother, my sister, can I ask you a very important question? When the president of Ghana is going to America, they don't even close crèches and kindergartens for that president. My brother, my sister, when the president of Ghana, the president of Nigeria, the president of Togo or the Ivory Coast is traveling to America or England, cockroaches do not even have a holiday to come and stand by the roadside to wave at these presidents. Is it that these presidents are not important? Is it that these presidents are not important? Or is it that the people in those areas just believe that it is not important? And there should be some kind of rights for the children. In fact, it is the right for every child to get education. You must never deny any child any education for whatever reason, unless it borders on life and death. I see it as unjustifiable to take children out of school, for them to come and stand by the roadside to wave at some idiots coming into the country, idiots who have kept us in bondage and suppression all this while. Slave masters' children, my brother, my sister, who through the IMF and the World Bank continue to puppet us, and our leaders play the game so dumb, and for that matter, we continue to be in the doldrums of the economy. There is no need to close down any school to wave at Donald Trump coming into the country. There is no need to even ask cockroaches to leave their holes and dark corners to come on the street and wave at Queen Elizabeth coming into the country. Absolutely no need. But in our country, this is what we do. My brother, my sister, now a queen mother is gone. She contributed a quota, my brother, my sister, to the people. My brother, my sister, can we sit back and look at her achievements? What did she do for the people of Gamashi? Can we look at that? Are there still potholes surrounding a palace? Was she involved in Galamsey? Did she rob the people? We need to look at all these things, my brother, my sister. The fact that you have been made a king or a queen does not mean that automatically you have to be revered at the tenure of your office. We have to sit back and look at the T's and the I's and decide whether to cross and to dot them or to let them just go. It is because of some of these things, my brother, my sister, that every old man in Ghana is seen as wise, forgetting totally that there are younger people who are stupid and they will grow to be old, stupid idiots. Please, we need to look at some of these things. Is tradition stagnant? That's the question I'm asking. Should we do the same old things from 7 million years ago? Should we do them? Can we look at why some of these things were brought onto us? Even manna has stopped falling. When the Israelites moved in the deserts for 40 solid years, and manna was raining from the heavens. Today, manna doesn't rain anymore. You can pray and bring heaven and earth down. You can speak in tongues as if you invented tongues. You can fast from when you were born up to the time that you die. Manna will never fall from the skies again. It was for a period and it's over. Should we say that is our tradition? And for that matter, we should move into the desert and sit down and be wailing and crying and waiting for manna to fall from the skies? I am speaking in parables. In fact, our ancestors will curse us if we refuse to use our brains. In the days of the ancestors, there were so many things that were important, and therefore they innovated and created some things that they were doing to be able to uplift them and to uphold some kind of beliefs. In our time, we need to look at these things and see if they are worthy of holding up or not. I am a traditionalist. I love tradition. I love tradition. But there are some of our traditions that are absolutely useless. Look at female genital mutilation. It's the tradition of some people. Female genital mutilation is somebody's tradition. Clitorises are cut off, my brother, my sister. And I cannot even tell you the reason, my brother, my sister. I know why they did that. But my brother, my sister, it feels so heavy in my mouth to go ahead and mention them. Will you, if you were born in those areas, insist that you have your daughter circumcised like that? These are the things I'm talking about. I do not see why schools should be closed down because a queen mother died. No. I do not see why shops should close down so that we will celebrate a queen mother who passed on. Can we innovate and bring other ways of celebrating these wonderful people who supported us? If the queen truly did so many good things, why don't you build a statue for the queen? Why don't you build a library and name it Now Day Amedro III Library? Why don't you build a school? Why don't you even bring a special levy to all the businesses in the area to finance a certain school, a certain library, a certain water project in the name of Now Day Amedro III, rather than closing down schools, rather than closing down shops? That will cut down on productivity, force people to go to bed at 6 p.m. so that you celebrate a queen. What do you get from that materially and spiritually? I'm just asking. Me, I didn't want to leave any will, but I will leave a will before I die. And in the will, it's going to say, please don't waste any money in my burial. I don't need a coffin. I need people to rather sit back and meditate over what I did when I was alive. How can you continue with this to free Africa and to free the people of Africa? That is more important to me than closing down schools and lining up school children to go home and sleep for 2 days or even more because I died. Am I making sense? I leave it here. Next thing I would like to look at, and I need you to come along, brethren. This is very important. Now, this thing that I'm looking at is quite dicey, but somebody must talk about it. And for that matter, you are the one. I want you to be my guest. And this one I'm reading from graphic.com, the national communicator. And he says, stop vilifying Akufo-Addo's father. And this is Justice Atuguba talking. A former justice of the Supreme Court, Justice William Atuguba, has urged the public to desist from impugning the president's father, Edward Akufo-Addo, who he described as an astute and honest lawyer and statesman. Justice Atuguba said Edward Akufo-Addo, a former Chief Justice and President, was an excellent lawyer with great distinction by all standards, who stood in fidelity with the law and against tyranny, and therefore there was no need for Ghanaians to turn their anger on him. You find on social media people trying to turn their anger on Akufo-Addo, Edward. And that is the joy of turning your anger. And what is the joy of turning your anger on the president's father? Let us be fair on all matters. You see, so this is what tells you that Atuguba might be ignorant, really. This is a reason to say that Atuguba might be called a learned fellow, but he might be ignorant when it comes to history. He is describing Edward Akufo-Addo, the father of Nana Akufo-Addo, as an honest lawyer and an honest statesman and president who stood for this country. How did he stand for this country? How honest was he? As a lawyer of this stature, do you know that Nana Akufo-Addo's father and some other such lawyers came together, my brother, my sister, to sell out the justice system? They defended murderers, my brother, my sister, who they knew had killed people and deserved to be punished. But they went fighting and telling lies that these people did nothing wrong. Is that the law? That you know the truth and you want to fight against the truth? If I mean to talk about this issue, it will take me another 30 minutes to go into that Chebi crisis that happened. That murderers, my brother, my sister, were defended by Nana Akufo-Addo's father, J.B. Dankwa, and the rest of them. My brother, my sister, these were criminal lawyers. J.B. Dankwa, Edward Akufo-Addo, and the rest, they were criminal-minded. If the people are slapping the statue of Edward Akufo-Addo, they deserve to be slapped. I'm talking about those statues. Read the story of Edward Akufo-Addo. Why was there a coup d'etat against him? What did he do? What did he not do? Atuguba should take his time when it comes to history. You can talk your law, article this, number this, verse that, and that. That is your day job. But when it comes to history, please, for heaven's sake, do not push villains into our history and force us to call them heroes. If you are not satisfied, when I return from my leave, I will go deeper into why Edward Akufo-Addo should never be seen as a statesman. These were people who supported coups. These were people who were not ready to be honest with the justice system. If Ghanaians are slapping the statues of Edward Akufo-Addo, please, they do not even deserve to have their statues in this country. I leave it here. Last thing I would like to look at, my brother, my sister, and I'm done, is this one from Ghana, where which says, this year has been difficult for Africa. Economy to grow in 2024. This is the IMF. My brother, listen. Managing director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, has said local economies in Africa have suffered several difficulties this year. According to her, the economies in Africa were still emerging from the shocks of the global pandemic, coronavirus, as well as being hit with huge cost of borrowing and high cost of living. I live it here. Did you hear that?
Yabo!
She's saying that because of the coronavirus, African economies have dwindled. And it's all because of another aspect of it all. High cost of borrowing and high cost of living. Is it only African countries that suffered coronavirus? Please, when these people speak, let's open our brains and listen. This is the director, IMF, managing director, Kristalina Georgieva. Listen to the trash she's telling us. Oh, African countries suffered. So they are giving us an alibi. They are giving us a certain reason to be mediocre. I don't know how many people are listening. You are telling me because of coronavirus, African economies dwindled. Coronavirus, did it hit only Africa? Europe and America even suffered the brunt of coronavirus more than Africa. High cost of living and high cost of borrowing, who caused it? Is the IMF and the World Bank. African countries are producing, my brother, my sister, to feed European industries. And that is what they are good at. Gorgeous big economies. And when they go to borrow, you slap them with so much cost. Today you come and tell us we are suffering because of this. To God be the glory. I'll leave it here. My awareness now.